Like and subscribe on the way in the door, my people. I hope you all are having a fantastic day today. So you see the title of the video. Losing was not an option for Michael Jordan. Now, this video is basically more about his leadership style and the necessity of his leadership style. Now, when I say losing wasn't an option for Michael Jordan, of course, we all know Michael Jordan had failures. He lost like everyone else. But what I mean is this. Michael Jordan took the game of basketball so seriously. He took winning so seriously. And because he took winning so seriously, I would argue that there was no alternatives to what his leadership style could have been. You know, I've seen lots of interviews, lots of media personalities, basically try to say, well, there's more than one way to lead. They'll bring up Tim Duncan and they'll say, well, Michael Jordan was unnecessarily harsh. And I even watched the interview with Brad Sellers, who does think Michael Jordan is the GOAT, by the way. Matter of fact, I want to do a video on what Brad said about Michael Jordan being the GOAT, for those of you who may not have seen it. But Brad Sellers even said something to the effect, he was like, look, I'm a manager and I have to manage lots of different personalities. And he said something to the effect that, I think with Michael Jordan, the problem is he didn't understand is you can't use the same leadership style with every person. And, I'm not totally disagreeing with that. But this is what I have to say to that. When you are that serious about winning, and when you look at sports as war, then yes, I believe it's like you're putting people through boot camp. And so, and literally, like when you go into the military, the training for military or boot camp or whatever you want to call it, it is not easy. It is harsh. It is not only harsh in the way that you are training, can also be harsh in how people of rank speak to you. They're not necessarily going to speak to you politely. And why is that? Do people say, well, I think the military the training is too harsh. They should be nicer. Well, no, they can't be nicer because we're talking about a life and death situation. They're trying to prepare you for life and death. And the only way to do that is to get you to understand how serious the situation is. It is not fun and games. We are not going into a nice situation. This is life and death. This is war. Well, on some level, I feel like this is the same mentality that Michael Jordan had in the sense that this is how serious he took winning. There was no other option. It was life and death for him. On one of those highlight videos, he said something to the fact that losers are forgotten and nobody wants to go to their grave forgotten. So winning was highly important to him. So his leadership style reflected that. His leadership style reflected that, hey, this is not fun and games for me. Like, this is serious. I have to win. There's no other option. And if you come in here playing, that's not acceptable. Like, this is not about a good time. This is not about being best friends. This is about going out here and getting the job done. And nothing else is acceptable. And I would argue that, while some people may say, oh, well, you can't lead everyone the same way, I would argue that, yes, you can. And I think an example of that is Luke Longley. Luke Longley, if any of you have seen his documentary, talks about how, he basically had to change the kind of person he was to play alongside Michael Jordan. And he had to become a person that he didn't necessarily like. But he got it done because Michael Jordan made everyone understand that that's what it's going to take. So, yeah, you could say, oh, well, Luke Longley, he was kind of like a big teddy bear. Michael Jordan should have been easier on him. No. Because for Michael Jordan, sports is war. For Michael Jordan, there is no option to lose. Like, you can only be nice when you feel the situation isn't that serious. And I know for a lot of you fanboys, sports isn't that serious. I know for your king, it's not that serious. That's why he can smile a lot after just losing the game. Because for y'all, winning isn't that important. The stats are more important. As long as he's stacking up his stats and, if he tries to play 45 years, not playing defense, that's just fine with you guys. But for the serious competitors, winning was serious. Larry Bird. To me, those Celtics teams, they played serious. It was war. And you could see it in the intensity in which they played. The Lakers. It was war. And when Michael Jordan came in, he took it up a notch. The bad boy Pistons wanted to win so bad that, they were playing football. But yeah, so I don't know if I agree with this whole narrative that, yes, there are several ways you can lead. But I think that really depends on how seriously you take the task at hand. And if you are very serious about winning, like if winning for you is life and death, then no. Then everything of how you go about practice has to feel like life and death too. Because you play like how you practice. Anyone who's ever played sports or done anything that requires practice before the performance, they should know this. If you're a musician, you know the same thing is said. You play how you practice. You practice with intensity so that you play with intensity. So that playing with intensity becomes second nature. So anyway, this is a short video. Like I said, I just heard Brad Sellers say that. And like I said, to me, it's a lot of people are always talking about alternative ways of leadership when it comes to Michael Jordan. And yeah, he didn't have to be that harsh. But again, I go back to my military analogy. Like, war is life and death. So, military, they're not joking with you during training, during boot camp. Like, it's serious. And I feel like that's kind of like the same approach Michael Jordan had to winning. Like, it was serious to him. It was war to him. So because of that, no, there was no alternative to how he could have led. He had to make them understand how serious he took winning. He had to make the practices feel like they were finals games so that when players got to it, that they were already used to it because they practiced that way. But anyway, we're going to hold up here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think a good leader has to tailor their leadership style to each individual, or do you think it depends on how serious the task at hand is? If you are that serious about the task at hand, then you have to make everyone understand how serious the task at hand is in order for everyone to be on the same page and to get that goal accomplished. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. You all have a fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. All right.